This video is a continuation from the previous. So we've talked about unity, but as we've said, unity can become boring. And so variety is where we begin to add some interest and energy to a design. Too much variety makes your design chaotic and difficult to read. And so you need to find a balance between unity and variety. For example, compare the alligator with color and without in order to understand the value of variety. Oops, my mouse went to sleep here. So unity and variety can and should work together. This will create variety and interest within your design. In the image here, the painting here by Kandinsky, he repeats, right? He's unified this painting through line style, through shape, and through color. I'm sorry. Actually, color's the variety. But it does unify too. You see how it does both, right? Because you've got a variety of colors, but they fit, right? So that color is also that color. It's also that color. It's also, it's hard to see the further I get away from it, this color. And then this color is also a shade off of this color, and it's this color, and it's this color. So we have this variety of colors, but it's not like he just used these colors here. He used the colors here, but then he also used them in other squares. And that creates not only variety, but unity. Okay, so let's talk about how to apply variety using some of the elements of design. So shapes. Look at the first row of circles. We are unified by the fact that there are 6 lavender, let's call that lavender circles that are outlined by a darker lavender thin border. They're identical. So there's no color variety here at all. Everything is the same. So we've now moved down a step. 3 of the circles are lilac and 3 of the circles are violet. Okay, lilac rather than lavender. That's more appropriate. So we alternate. So we have minimal variety with color. We're alternating. Now we're going to introduce another color. 2 circles are lilac, 2 are violet, and 2 are teal. Right? So we've added a moderate amount of variety. Now here's where we get into maximum color variety. All the circles are different colors. This is hard to pull off. Most of the time, you limit your choices to 2 or 3. Color is one of the few places where you can get away with more, and it's because shades and tints or following a color, tracing a color around the color wheel can do that. And you see these all work together because they are all similar saturation. If you literally trace around a color wheel and pick these colors on different points, it works. So check the sizes of your shapes to ensure variety as well. Look at the squares at the bottom of the page. They're all identical. What happens if I change them? Make some of them bigger and some of them smaller. What if I rotate some of them? That is variety. Now, there's nothing wrong with what's on the bottom. It works in the context that it is in because there's so much else on the page that it's really just a supporting element. But if it were the only thing on the page, that could be boring. Here's variety through color. If you look at this interior space, it's neutral shades. Very dark browns that are almost black, or maybe it is black. White or off-white. Camel, wood, the natural wood color of oak, and then the rug, right? I've talked about this before, where if you're going to use something like that, because that rug is very discordant, if you're going to use something like that, it should be the only thing in the room. And then you see how they've taken little pops of color out of the rug and placed them on accents. Very, very small supporting accents. Okay, so that's a variety. Harmony is about making sure that our compositions are harmonious. It involves choosing elements that share a common trait. And again, harmony without variety can become a monotony. So you have to balance. And it can also be achieved through color, value, shape, line, scale, etc. The word harmony is more closely related with music instead of design, but harmony is very much a part of design because music is also an art, right? So we're still talking. It's not a visual art, but it's still a fine art. And so when a designer arranges specific elements together, the goal is to give the audience a feel that the parts of the entire work form a whole design. So harmony is also part of unity. That's why we're talking about these things together, because they are inextricable from one another. And so harmony is basically what you could consider visual music. And this is the Lotus Pavilion. I usually reference what the building is. And I realized I didn't here. But here it is on the next page. Oh, Lotus Temple. Sorry, I thought it was Pavilion. And you can see it as an example of harmony through unity. It's kept from being boring through the use of spatial arrangements and repeating elements, but also scaling them, right? So these inner elements are similar to these, but they're different. They're the same but different. And then even this shape is the same but different. So we're connected by the fact that we have these shapes that we're using to define our forms, but we are varying them. So you can see there's the triangular part and the curved part, but we're varying them to keep this from being, because if these were all the same shape, it would be very boring. So unity, variety, and harmony are principles of design that work together to create high quality designs that are at the same time unified, varied, and harmonious throughout the composition, throughout the format. It's a juggling act to properly balance the three, but with time and practice, you actually will build your skills. In the beginning, keep your design simple in order to only juggle a small amount of elements, and then over time, challenge yourself by adding more. And these are some visuals you can look at more closely that will help have them all on one page together. So why does this work of art have excellent unity, variety, and harmony? Well, it is unified by its dashed and flowing lines, its abstract expressionist style, its organic shapes. It is varied by its complementary color scheme, its asymmetrical balance, and its tonal contrast. And then it is harmonized by its composition. Why does this residence have excellent unity, variety, and harmony? It's unified by its stark white color scheme and its minimalist style. It's varied by its asymmetrical balance and its proportions, as well as its geometric contrast to the surrounding organic nature. It's harmonized by its rectangularity and horizontality of its forms. By the way, if you haven't figured this out, architects like to make up words, and I'm all for it. If there isn't a word that meets what you need it to, make it up. Just make sure you tell people what it means. And the last example here, we're unified by minimalism, the use of natural materials. We're unified by even the organic shapes are still cut out into geometric forms, right? So you have stone, which is organic, but it's been cut, it's ashlar cut to create very organic forms out of something that's, I'm sorry, very geometric forms out of something that's organic. So we're varietied by our texture, our colors, and our landscaping, and then it's harmonized by its composition, its forms, and its proportions. Okay, so that is how we do it. And references are here if you want to dig further. Okay, that's the end of this lecture series, and we will continue in the next one.